A special thank you goes to Jackknife Racing TV. He allows me to use his broadcasts into my racing movies.
Here we go, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right out, away we go. Tobias gets a good start. That's the fastest I've seen him yet. But Henrik Mola is a rocket. It's a better start from Tobias, but still not fast enough to hold off them. And here we go into the first corner. Tobias goes late, deep. And I think he's going to come out holding P3 just about as they head up the hill.
Yep.
Tobias will be very, very strong against Tim going into that bus stop.
So Henrik did get a round on the outside there, and Jack Wilkins really got a great start as well. Sort of squeezed his way in between.
And Jack Wilkins going for the outside on Henrik Mola. Oh, he's bailed it.
Oh, he has to bail.
It's good. Spotmanship.
Josh Milton is right there, and Jan is still keeping up as well.
Yeah, it was good sportsmanship shown by Jack not to cause an accident. It's really crucified his own race, but good avoidance by him.
It's a 20-minute race. There's still time to catch up if some of the people in front either start battling or start getting small off tracks and making mistakes and having to lift.
As Dominic just holds the inside against Jack there, doing what he needs to do. It's going to be an interesting as they head down to the hill. Jack's still not able to get past Dominic. Dominic very good in these cars. Good at making each of them very, very wide.
And already this race is shaping up to be a direct battle for the championship between Henrik and Tim Buckman. So Tim will be, I'm sure, be giving his all to get past Henrik to score those crucial points to catch up to Henrik in the championship. Oh, but Tobias is looking on the inside, but tucking in. Running really, really close, as I mentioned earlier on, to the tail of Tim to get the best run out of the corner and put in that overtake, and Tim goes wide.
Yeah, Tobias been very, very patient at the beginning of this race. Last week, Henrik Mola did successfully hold off Tim Buckman, using all the width of Akiyama to stop him, but Tobias has got a fantastic run here. He's going to go and send it down the outside of Henrik, but they're going to go 3 wide. This is not good going into that bus stop. This is going to potentially suck for all 3 of these cars if they gets wrong. It looks like they just managed to hold their lines.
Oh, that is great racing right there. Very respectful lines through that bus stop.
It allows Josh Milton to get in on the action with them battling and costing some of their time, but Henrik Anderson is right in the rear end of him. So it'll be interesting to see Henrik Anderson, can he make some positions up? He's also been quite a bit unlucky in this TCR series. Just seems to lose it halfway through the race. So let's hope he can do better this time around.
He's right there on the tail of Joshua Milton, so he's definitely not out of this yet. They do have a bit of a gap down to... So Jan Weiswang is in the middle there, blinking a little bit in and out, but they are building a gap to him and Dominic after him.
Yeah, Jack Wilkins still unable to get past Dominic Lillihart. Maybe fell back a little bit and is now getting challenged by Klaas Hartmann for which will be pretty much pole next time round.
Yeah.
It's nice to see all of these cars still really, really close even after about a quarter of the race is gone.
Yeah, it's everyone within 3 seconds or so. It's pretty close.
Right, Zach just setting the fastest lap of the race. Tim Buckman going very wide. Henrik.
Yeah, Henrik going really, really wide there. This is where Tim he needs to stay on the tail of Henrik if he's gonna gain some points in the championship. He cannot let Henrik run off together with Tobias.
He's definitely going to need to find a way to get past him now, because you just see
even though the draft isn't particularly strong in these cars, if Henrik can just stay on the tail of Tobias, we know Tobias has the pace to run away a little bit. So Tim really needs to be there, be ready for that, and not let Henrik go.
It's going to be quite interesting, especially as the tyres start to go off. They will drift a little bit wider. There's some beautiful shots of Gopher Camp, and as these cars go flying past, these cars do look actually really spectacular on this track. It seems to suit them quite well.
Gopher Camp popularized by Flyby 9.
They're Americans and their excitable personalities.
Absolutely.
Tim's just falling back a bit now. He's now about a second behind Henrik Mola. And
Henrik Anderson is putting the move on Tim now. Looking on the inside, on the outside, but tugging in, maybe waiting for the straight.
It's going to be quite interesting. I thought Josh was then going to send it down the inside of him, but he's just choosing not to right now. That's not really a corner you should ever go too wide in, despite IMSA, where everyone tries to go too wide through that corner, and it often ends in tears. Thankfully, there's no gravel on the outside anymore. But there we go. Josh has got fantastic
on the outside. Tim's defending well. No, he's letting him go this time.
This could have
got the move done on the straight.
There are huge repercussions in the championship. Henrik looking for his first jackkniferacing.tv trophy. So hopefully he will do well. Though I think he's in line possibly for 2 trophies this year.
I think he has. Is he in contention for the F3 as well? No, he dropped out of that.
Yeah, he dropped out of that. He was too spread out, he said.
Yeah.
Not having enough time to practice that F3, which is fair enough. Jack Wilkins still trying to get past that Hyundai Veloster, which is new to this season for anyone who hasn't seen that yet. But Jack unable to find a way past Dominic Lelyhart, defending like an absolute champion. He's representing Belgium well here. If this is a Eurovision Song Contest, he'd be scoring highly in my book.
Yep, there's some nice defending. Nice and clean. So, and Tim has lost the... No, he lost the place to Josh early on the straight. Sorry, I was getting excited for nothing there. But they are losing ground to Tobias and Henrik. It's 2 seconds now from Henrik back to Joshua. And I don't think they will be able to catch up unless something goes on with Tobias and Henrik. If they start battling, perhaps they have the chance to catch up.
I would say Henrik Mola possibly getting a little bit closer a lap to Tobias. Maybe Tobias made a couple of mistakes that we've missed. But Henrik Mola looking very, very strong as well at the moment.
Yeah, I think he's probably okay with just hanging on to Tobias for now. Tobias is not that big of a threat in the championship. Could become if
we need a lot of DNFs for Tobias to do any moves this late in the championship. Unfortunately, I had to miss 2 weeks earlier on this season due to holidays. But he's probably...
As Tim Buckman passes Joshua Milton again. But Josh is right there on the outside. That's a nice move, switching back to the inside and getting it done.
Tim just holding off through the chicane. But Henrik Anderson still within touching distance. Henrik Mola, though, 2/10 to Tobias. This could get really spicy towards the end of the race.
It might be a little soon to put on very aggressive moves. They still have half of the race to go. Oh, look at that. That is very close. And if Henrik can run away now from Tim, and maybe battle with Tobias towards the end, is much better than letting Tim back in because of a battle now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this develops. The higher Henrik places, the more points he scores. I think I incorrectly said there's a total of 100 points left. There's only 80 points. It's 20 points for a win. So Henrik knows if he can score highly in the last 3 races, and as well as this one, he will definitely be taking that championship trophy home. But we should watch this 3-way battle between Henrik, Milton, and Buckman.
And this situation to me feels like a typical Henrik Anderson race. Just hanging on there, lurking, waiting for the people in front to make mistakes. Just not being aggressive, but not being gapped either. Just hanging in there and taking the opportunity when it presents itself.
Yeah, but crucially, he has got 1x, so he's already lost his 0x status, unfortunately, for Henrik.
Oh, well, he can just park it then.
It's the 0x himself. Won't be happy with that. But look at this. Could be going 3 wide by the time we get to the bus stop. Him playing very defensive. That's not necessarily a good line through the bus stop, though. You lose a lot of time. Josh will probably give him enough space as they go very, very close. And like I said, that faster line being on the outside is just enough for Josh to come out ahead. Henrik Anderson just washes out a little bit too much of understeer and can't quite attack Tim down the inside as much as he would have liked, but this is not over yet. There's plenty of time.
And Wilkins is still right on the tail, down in 8th position, right on the tail of Dominic Lelliot, but is still not quite able to pass.
And Class is not that far behind if one of these make a mistake. Looks like Dominic just holds out, pushes Jack a little bit wide.
That was a great shot where we can see how close all of them still are on that short straight on the boot.
Yeah, definitely. Klaus Hartmann will be hoping, though at the moment he's currently starting on pole, so you never know. Klaus might win the next race. We believe in you, Klaus.
All right.
Joshua Milton gapped a little bit now, so he's looking a little bit more comfortable. Henrik Anderson still on that rear boot of Buckman. He will be looking for a good exit. Though I think Tim actually had a really good exit out of the final corner. He's going to try and attack Josh down the home straight.
It's not. I don't think he's close enough yet. He's catching a little bit. And yeah, Henrik just hanging out there behind Tim Buckman, waiting for it to get really spicy through the bus stop, maybe taking advantage. He was really close last time around. And Henrik Müller, looking at that interval, he must be right alongside Tobias almost now.
But now Tim Buckman has the advantage going through the line, but he can't quite capitalise this time around. I think he lost a little bit of time going wide.
I think he did.
Henrik Anderson is right up there.
So this is where if Joshua Milton can take advantage and create that gap to Tim Buckman, but it does quite look like it. They're hanging in there. A little bit of a gap. Not quite a second, but pretty close to by now.
Let's have a quick look at the replay. Dominic and Jack swapped positions very briefly. Looks like we're coming into the middle straight just before the bus stop. So does Jack just outbrake him. Ooh. Very good side-side action, but Dominic retains that position just about. Regardless of will be wanting to push past Tim. I think he knows he has the pace, so once he gets past Tim, I think he can possibly chase down Josh again. But Tim is just playing very, very good. Obviously a lot on the line with points. I'm hoping Tobias Sek holds off Mola just enough so he doesn't lose too many points to him. Currently, I believe it's only a 4-point swing, swing to Mola.
Yeah. So, if we were sitting in the car with Tim Buckman, I'm pretty sure he would be very, very interested in getting back in touch with Joshua and getting past. Because what is it? Is it this race and another one next week, or is this the final one?
So it's this race. So we have this race, and we have a 30-minute race, and then we have one final round next week. That is taking place at Alton Park with no first chicane.
So, is it like a 17 points deficit that he has to Henrik right now? He needs to get in there and not lose any more points in any of these races. It's getting pretty close to the point where even a race win for Tim and a DNF for Henrik is not going to be enough for him to catch up again.
It's currently, like you are correct, 17 points. And Tim will be losing another 4, so it'll be 21 points if result holds like this. So Tim really needs to move up and reduce that to only a 2-point loss on Henrik. Josh Milton goes very wide on the exit, but I believe that's fine in iRacing now, especially since he took the gravel away anyway.
I just noticed Tobias had a very short off track, but it doesn't seem to be costing him anything really in this duel with Henrik Staten-Müller.
Because I think he went too wide through the bus stop, and there's a very, very fast line from Henrik and Mola going down the inside. Possibly would have been looked at inside the stewards if he kept it.
That was an interesting move there, going a little wide on the outside and then coming back on the inside.
It's not over yet. We still have another 3 minutes of racing to go. And Henrik Mola is getting very, very close. He is wanting it. He can sense it. He can smell the blood. He's going to try and send it, I think, on Tobias. But Tobias will try and block him in every possibility. Is he going to just send it again? Not this time. He's going to be putting Tobias under a lot of pressure. Tobias is not going to be liking this. He's going to be loving the battle, but he's not going to be liking how fast Henrik is behind him.
That is very close, very, very tense racing right there. And even with that, they're still maintaining a gap of 3.5, 4 seconds down to Joshua Milton and Tim Buckman and Henrik Anderson. That's quite impressive.
It's nice to see so many battles going on up and down the field, especially at this late stage on the sprint race. Jack Wilkins still trying to find a way past Dominic Lilliart.
We still have all 9 starting cars on this fitting on the same straight on the heel, the sole of the boot down there. That's within 6-7 seconds or so. That's pretty nice. Very, very impressive.
Henrik will be thinking, how do I get past him? Tobias is just placing the car every place he needs it to be. But Henrik, if he can get a good slingshot of this final corner, he'd potentially challenge him going into the first corner through 90. But I don't think it's enough this time around. Tobias gets roughly an on-par exit with Henrik Mola. So we're going to look through the 90. Can Henrik find a way through here? He is a little bit quicker. He's go down the inside nose. There's not enough room before the first corner. It takes a little bit of an off track. Puts them 2 wheels on the grass. Very dangerous in a TCR. It does seem to suck you onto the...
It does. If you didn't have an off track to begin with, you will get one very soon if you're just thinking about getting a wheel on that grass.
Michael Massey's in chat saying, should there be
Moving
a random
to the
yellow?
outside there? Is that going to be... It's not enough to make a move. He's trying that outside-inside line again. Oh, there's contact. Henrik is off.
He survives. It'll be quite interesting. I think it was a racing incident, in my opinion.
And at the same time, Tim Buckman passed Joshua Milton.
Yes.
This is action right now.
There's so much to go on. And Jack Wilkins
1 minute
trying
left
to
of
find...
the race. Everybody's coming alive.
Jack Wilkins still trying to get past Dominic Lilliart.
That is going to go to the wire, that one. Actually, all the way to the line.
It'll be quite interesting. I think the way Henrik went off might constitute a slowdown, which is horrible for Henrik Mola, obviously.
Yeah, could be. He's very wide off. Yeah. I think he might have gotten off with a 1x for that one.
And we'll see how Tim got past Joshua Milton. So he just absolutely sent it down the back straight.
Coming on the outside.
Yeah, so Tim just doing everything he needs to do. That's how you get past in the bus stop. I do love the bus stop. Here he goes. Tobias Sek wins with Henrik Steamroller second. Joshua Milton P3. So he gets Tim back right at the end. Oh my
Must have. We didn't see that. And look at that again. Henrik Anderson so close to sneaking away with that P4 from Tim Buckman, but didn't quite manage it.
So here we go. Pretty much ready for race 2 now. Quick look at the grid. How is it looking? Klaus Hartmann on pole. Jack Wilkins P2. Dominic Lelyhart P3. Jan Weiswanger P4. Eric Anderson P5. Tim Buckman P6. Joshua Milton P7. Henrik Muller P8. Tobias Sek P9. And Gita and Chris are retired.
I will be interested in watching the race sort of the other way around between Jack and Dominic now. See him if they're going to be as close, if Dominic can put as much pressure on Jack as Jack did on Dominic without getting through.
Yes, here we go. There's a confirmation. Henrik Muller has opened up his lead a little bit more. It's now 21 points. That's more than a race win and a DNF for Henrik Muller. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Lights out, away we go. Looks like everyone gets a decent enough start. Jan is obviously in no man's land once again. Jack Wilkins takes the lead at the moment. So he's looking very good. Don't know where Dominic went or what happened to Dominic. Maybe just had a really bad start.
All the way down to, yeah, I think he got off the line quite slowly and dropped down to 6th place from the 3rd. He's not going to be happy with that.
Here we go once again. Joshua Milton and Tim Buckman going fighting down that back straight. Continuing where they left off. Obviously, they were changing positions back and forth the whole race last time round. And I can't imagine it's going to be different this time round either. It looks like everyone's getting through the bus stop quite well. I don't think anyone crashed yet, so everyone's looking pretty good.
Everyone is looking pretty good. There's a few position changes back and forth. People jostling for those positions. It's pretty close. They're not scared of going too wide. And looks like Dominic is... Oh, we have contact. Tobias and Dominic. But they're still going. A little bit of bumping doors there.
Thought we were just about to have our first retirement there, because them cars would not recover from going into the wall at like 100 mile an hour. I can't imagine.
If that was as violent from within the car of Dominic as it looked from the outside, he did really well to hold on to that.
Now that you mention it, let's have a look. Dominic, yeah, probably just in his blind spot.
Oh, twice.
I think that was just a blind spot collision, unfortunately. It happens.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be too much damage in these TCRs. They can take a little bit of a beating on the outside.
Yeah, that is the beauty of these cars compared to something like the F3s or the Skippies is you get to do these things. You get to drive close to each other and bump doors a little bit, and that's all part of the fun.
Sek going down the inside of Klaus Hartmann now into the 90. Should be nice and easy for Tobias, but Klaus goes nice and wide. Possibly a little bit too wide and has lost the position, unfortunately.
Yes, but still seems to be on track, not an off track. Amazingly.
I don't know how that is not an off track, to be honest.
Yeah, no. That seems a little ridiculous.
And Joshua Milton is trying to chase down Tim Buckman still. Henrik Muller will be wanting Josh to take him just a little bit of a nudge off the circuit. So he can avoid Tim getting too far ahead. But Tim equally will be hoping Josh Milton can slow down Henrik towards the end of the race. 30 minutes is this feature race, so it's going to be non-stop. But hopefully, once again, Sek find himself down in P6 at the moment.
And Tim will be happy with the about 4-second gap that he has to Henrik now. This is his opportunity to claw back some of the points that he lost in the previous race.
It's definitely going to be interesting. Can Jack Wilkins find a way to engineer another win? I think his only win so far has been at Nurb. But he's looking good at the moment. As long as he can keep this car on track and driving in a straight line, he should be okay.
He's looking very good. He's got a decent gap of 1 second down to Tim Buckman.
As we see, Henrik Anderson finds himself down at the bottom, which is unfortunate for him.
Making a move now on the inside of Klaus Hartmann. No, tugging back in.
What we can have a look at is, let's see what happened to Dominic right at the beginning. And it's going to be quite interesting.
Oh, I love the Belgian flag drawn on top of the car.
Yeah, so he just
got off the line a little slow there, bogged down, I think. Not enough revs, perhaps.
Gets a little love tap from Tim for good measure.
Yep.
But Henrik Anderson will be trying to improve his position. Dominic Lilliehart chasing down pretty much a ghost at the moment, unfortunately. We don't know why Jan is having issues. His connection is all fine for everyone.
Must be quite scary racing him like that, knowing he's probably on the inside somewhere, but you don't know where. So Dominic is definitely wisely keeping space to let Jan blink in and out of existence there. Seems Dominic has gotten ahead now.
And Dominic has passed him on the entry to the outer loop. And looking strong. P6 is currently doing really well if he can improve his position much more. And as we see these two battles continue. Resume, from last race.
Yeah, so Tobias is caught up to Henrik now. Nobody between them. And he's put in the move on the inside.
I thought there was going to be a toe maneuver there. Looks very
pretty close. So Henrik has caught up a second to Joshua Milton and Tim in front. He does not want to be battling Tobias now. He wants to catch up, I'm sure.
Yeah, so Milton 3.5 tenths slower than Mola in lap 2. So Mola really trying to put the moves on now. Try and close that gap up. But Joshua Milton will be trying to do what he can to remain in this fight.
And a few spots behind, Henrik Anderson has found his way past Klaus Hartmann.
But there's really not a lot of time between these 4 cars of him, Josh, Henrik and Tobias. As Tobias Sek actually sets the fastest lap of the race so far.
But Jack in front, he's almost opened up a 2-second gap now. That's really looking really solid. Even though it's still a long race, there's more than 20 minutes left. But if he can keep up that pace,
yeah, especially
it's looking really good.
Especially if he can keep out with that toe that Tobias was talking about, that we've not seen in any other TCR race we've covered here.
Yeah, exactly. That is something new. Very interesting change.
We've had long straights of Snetterton. Maybe just the setup for Watkins Glen allows the toe to be utilised better.
Oh, and Henrik Anderson just lost his place again to Klaus Hartmann, going off track a few times there.
Yeah, these two fighting like absolute pros, going backwards and forwards, but Klaus Hartmann running that Overwatch Diva livery. Just holding off currently by a sec, so making this train pretty much a 4-car train now. This will be nice enough for Henrik Mola. He'll neutralise the gain he lost, the gain he had in race 1. This will neutralise it as current standings show. But Tim Buckman will want to open up or even close that gap as more than it was before the race started.
Absolutely. This race is coming alive now, I would suspect, with those 3 cars, because Tobias always going to race, and Joshua as well, and Tim and Henrik, they are gunning it out for the championship right now. So this is going to be spicy.
We've closed the gap a little bit on Tim Buckman. Tobias setting the fastest lap once again, but Henrik went faster than his personal best as well. But as you can see, Joshua Milton still behind Tim Buckman, even though he has the pace here. He can get past Tim Buckman. He showed it right at the end of the previous race. But it'll be interesting to see if he can find a way through, as Tim goes very defensive, and so does Tobias and Henrik behind.
Henrik is not going to let Tobias steal any points away from his battle with Tim here. As Joshua pushes his way through, and
Tim's going to have a
Tim
massive
has
slowdown.
big off track.
That's a famous Watkins slowdown, unfortunately for Tim. That's going to cost him points in the championship.
That's not what Tim wanted right now. Getting behind Henrik and with Tobias in between, stealing a few points.
Let's see if there's going to be any steward inquiry going into the last stages of the race. No, I think that's just side-by-side action.
Oh, very close there. Getting a little bit of a tap. It's hard to say if it's Tim turning in a bit much on that, or if it's Joshua Milton drifting out a little bit to catch Tim.
I think it's fair game. If you go 2x2 through the bus stop, you might have a collision, but he's now back past Josh.
And now all of a sudden everything is upside down with Henrik Steenmüller in front and Tobias going past Tim Buckman, Joshua Milton behind.
We should say crucially, Jack Wilkins now has a 3.2 second gap because of all that messing up in the bus stop.
Yeah, this all plays to Jack's favor, right? He's really gaining time on these guys battling it out so hard.
Henrik
This
Mola,
could be his chance to run away with a win here.
Henrik Mola absolutely sending it through the last corner. Not giving him a chance. Josh Milton's back on the inside of Tim Buckman. You don't know where to look. There's so much going on. But Henrik Mola is still just ahead of Tobias, and Tim is still just ahead of Jack. As we also have a little bit of a three-way battle at the back as well between Weiswanger, Hartmann, and Anderson. And Dominic Lelyhart. I only saw 3 cars because of Jan's popping in and out of existence. As Tobias seconds now back ahead briefly. They're going to go 2x2 through this again. And they're keeping it tighter than the other two did. Nice. Josh.
Henrik gonna coming out on the inside of this outer loop. And Tim is really taking advantage. Tobias going way wide there, and Tim is getting past on the inside, but Tobias has the inside now going down the chute. Too wide with Tim and Joshua Milton right behind. This is awesome. Great racing from these 4.
You see?
Still side by side, Tim Buckman and Tobias Sek.
Tim Buckman and Joshua Milton investigated no penalty. That was just fair racing incident. Provided by Chief Steward Bruce McLeod, who unfortunately has COVID, but it means thankfully we have him to steward the series because he's not at work. Every cloud has a silver lining.
Oh, Royce. Yeah, definitely. Hopefully he's not feeling too poorly. A little bit of a gap has opened up now. Henrik Tobias running away a little bit again from Tim Buckman and Joshua Milton. I think Tim will be feeling like he's fighting for his life here, staying in touch, trying to, with all the means that he has at his disposal, to gain some points on Henrik here. Legal means, of course.
We just had an update. Bruce has no longer got the COVID. He's just in the recovery process now.
Lovely. Good on you, Bruce.
But anyone who recognizes the name Bruce, he is the commentator on Friday Night F3. So don't forget to tune in for the season finale on Friday, as Joshua Milton once again goes to the outside. But I think Tim's going to hold it this time, as Tobias and Henrik are not giving up this fight yet. These are providing some of the best action we've seen that hasn't been resulting in tears.
Yeah, this is very intense, very close racing, very well done. A little bit of an update from further behind in the field. Once again, Henrik Anderson has got past Klaus Hartmann, and I think maybe Jan Weiswanger had an off track and has gone down into 9th and last place.
We just don't know where to look, though, because Henrik Mola is back past by a sec.
Poor Jack Wilkins getting no camera time almost because of this battle going on.
That's what you
Sometimes
get
how it
when you're
is
too
being
good.
out in front on your own, right?
Yeah, it's definitely what happens when you're just too good in gapping the field. You do not get any camera time until there's checkered flag. Happens to Henrik occasionally in the Skippy League as well. Tobias doing everything he can.
I suspect it happened to Tobias last night as well in the Skippy on Nords.
Is everything going to be? Can Tobias find a way past Henrik? Henrik is doing what Tobias did to in race 1, just hanging him out to dry at every opportunity he can to stop him getting the run and going past.
But Tobias mentioned in his interview that Henrik was coming out of this T1, the 90, really strong. So that might negate a little bit of the draft that Tobias will gain.
He's already closing that gap. You can see that technically 100's really coming down.
He is right there. Making the move now quite early on the straight. Is he going to be all the way past before the chicane? He was just for a second, but he's not anymore.
These two are just... There you go. Tim is right in the battle now. I thought he was about to thread the needles and part them two like the Red Sea. But not to be done this time, and Joshua Milton is still not out of this battle. He's still with Tim, and this battle is just getting chaotic. It's more like aerial performance stunt team rather than a TCR race right now, as Joshua Milton goes a little bit wide.
For Tim, it's one thing is that Henrik is in front, but that Tobias is in between is even worse for Tim, right? Because it's gonna be a bigger gap in points, so he's gonna do what he can to get past Tobias. If I were Joshua Milton, I might just be biding my time a little bit, seeing what this three-way battle could turn into in terms of opportunities for me to gain something.
It is going to be interesting. Joshua Milton obviously is hanging in with the rest of the pack, but he just doesn't seem to be able to get a nose in anywhere, whereas Tim and Tobias both have had opportunities to get their nose down the inside or try and send it around the outside. But Tobias is looking strong again. The 100s are coming down, but there's not going to be enough. As Tobias goes Mr. Late Braking, but no, Henrik covers it off nice and safe. And probably just trying to get a good run up the hill. And he's in the draft. The time is coming down once again. Tim is going to be in the draft as well.
It's going to be a repeat. Going too wide through that bus stop, I'm sure.
You see the gap Josh has, but here we go. Tobias is
so
almost bum drafting Henrik down the straight. So
staying behind this time around. Oh, going on the outside there. That was pretty smart. That is going to be enough coming. He'll get the inside for the shoot. Oh, but Henrik got a really good run out of that outer loop still.
It was separated by thousandths after the outer loop.
And that is enough for this time around. Tobias got it done. It was a long move. Took its time to get that to stick. And Henrik is right there again.
And Henrik is going to try and do everything he can to make a move, probably in the same place. Jack has lost about 2/10 and only 13 minutes left to go in this race. So can these two keep battling and give Jack his second win in the TCR series?
Yeah, he's really closing that gap quite quickly now, Tobias, or at least gained a few tenths there. And again, that gap is coming down. So Jack is going to be sitting out there in front, willing Henrik to get close to Tobias and take the fight to Tobias so that Jack can stay in front, because Tobias is moving fast now. He is closing that gap.
Henrik just losing a little bit of time through that lap to Tobias. Maybe just cooling his tires a little bit to go in the battle again. As you say, Jack will be looking in the mirrors now, hoping for some Henrik intervention. But it has been proven, despite the draft, passing is not guaranteed at Watkins Glen. But Henrik has actually closed that gap massively going up the hill. It'll be interesting to see, is there a way for Henrik to get past, or is he going to wait another lap?
Not quite close enough this time around.
Henrik got a little bit wobbly going into the bus stop under braking.
Tim Buckman had a short off track there through the bus stop as well. Losing a bit of time to Henrik. He's not really close enough to be making a move anytime soon.
Yeah, that's gap to Jack now is only just under 2 seconds now, so Jack is going to be starting to sweat in that cockpit. In the space of 2 minutes, he has lost about a second to Tobias.
That is very impressive, driving from Tobias, coming out of that battle, that several lap battle with Henrik. And as soon as he had the chance to get past, immediately starting eating into that gap that Jack has been building up slowly. So very well done. This is there's more to come in this race, that's sure.
Well, as Henrik, Klaas and Dominic all fighting towards the back. These two are going, we don't care about who's at the front of the championship. We're going to have our own mini championship here right at the back. And they're doing really well, swapping back forwards. Henrik just been plus.
Absolutely. They are here to race. That's why they're in this league, to race and have a good time. And that is what they're doing. Hearts out.
The gap is now down to a second between Jack and Henrik. Mola is actually caught up to Tobias as well. Tobias
just got back up. Yeah.
Tobias won't quite get the toe this time round, but he's very, very quick around the middle sections of Watkins Glen. And Jack is going to be looking in his mirror at me, but you never know. These two could come together a little bit harder than last race. And Jack could be running away to the bank once again. Tim Buckman and Joshua Milton unfortunately fell back in this battle. Spice takes a very, very narrow line through that bus stop.
So if you're Henrik Müller sitting now behind Tobias, pretty close, are you going to wait for Tobias to catch up to Jack Wilkins and try to steal a win here? Or do you want to start battling Tobias for that second place and maybe let Jack run away again?
That's an interesting thought. I think Henrik is trying to just stick with Tobias at the moment, but Tobias is dragging them both towards Jack, and there's only a half a second gap now. Tobias is now closer to Jack than Henrik is to him. It's going to be very interesting what will happen. Obviously, there'll be a little bit of a battle going on between Jack and Tobias, which could allow Henrik to leapfrog them, as you say.
Definitely. So, Tobias going really wide there. He has a very wide line through that corner, but it's not an off track.
It's not slow either. That is a very good slingshot.
It's not slow either. So this is going to get interesting. Maybe in T1, maybe coming down to the bus stop if all three of them are in this pack together. Because Jack, he's been in front. He does not want to lose out now. He's going to fight nail and tooth to keep this P1. But it's already getting spicy.
That's not a big gap between Jack and Tobias. Tobias is going to send it around the outside. I think Jack is going to get it done under braking. Let's hope they don't come together. And Tobias just superior speed, a little bit.
Henrik is going to capitalize on this because this has slowed down Tobias, I'm sure. And Henrik is going to be in draft of both of them trying to find a way to play maybe peekaboo, going in and stealing a spot through that bus stop.
So we're not sure. Jack is kind of in front. Tobias is kind of in front. Henrik is kind of definitely behind.
So close. But it's all within 1/10. Oh my god. And Henrik wisely backs down a little bit there. But
contact, but not a lot. Not enough to spin Jack, thankfully.
Yeah. At least one of them were wise enough to not choose 3 wide through that bus stop.
But Jack for now holds on for another lap. Very hard to overtake in the boot section unless you get a really bad line through one of them. Jack should be able to hold the inside, which will be enough to hold the position from past experience. But Tobias is making me out a liar, possibly. Yeah, Tobias just showing, no matter what I say, he can do anything he wants. Jack still has that inside line, but like we said before, Tobias goes very wide and off the racing surface, as we'll put it, rather than an off track, which will allow him through on Jack to take the race lead.
And we have an almost identical battle going on for 6th place between Dominic Lilliot, Henrik Andersen, Klaas Hartmann. They are also all within a second, duking it out.
Yeah, so Dominic currently on top in this battle, but Henrik Andersen will be wanting to close that gap and do better. As I think Tim Buckman's actually got a little bit closer. I thought Henrik Mola was about to send it down the inside of Jack Wilkins then. He's just going to wait and do it on the back straight after going up the hill as fast as he can. But Jack's going to have a little bit of a run as well on Tobias. That gap already coming down. It's going to be interesting who gets to Tobias first between Jack and Henrik. They all have draft.
And with Jack moving out there, that leaves Henrik to make a choice. Does he follow Jack on the outside, or does he go with Tobias on the inside? And he's making the move on Jack. That was a very nice and clean move there from Henrik Steenmüller.
Very, very good driving between the three of these, but specifically that time Jack and Henrik Mola doing everything he needed to do. I thought Jack had it, but Henrik just had that superior line.
That move actually allowed Tim Buckman to catch up about half a second or so. Almost close enough to be within draft of Jack Wilkins now. Which is very interesting for Tim because, again, he does not want anyone between himself and Henrik. Preferably he would like to be in front, but if he can't be that, at least be as close to the tail of Henrik to not lose more points than necessary.
Yeah, he's now going to... I think the best he can do is pray that Henrik can't catch Tobias. But Tobias is doing everything he needs to do at the moment with about just over 4 minutes to go. Probably 2, maybe 3 more laps, depending on how iRacing calls it. Jack goes very wide in the exit. He's probably going to let Tim in.
Also, Joshua Milton off to the grass there, but he manages to get it back on track.
Henrik Andersen's lost the position once again to Klaas Hartmann.
That's quite a battle, a fierce battle going on for 6th place.
And poor Jan in the background. I do feel sorry for Jan, having some blinking issues.
It's very strange to have what sounds like a stable connection, but these weird, constant blinking issues must be very, very frustrating. I don't know if he experiences it himself, but...
it could be connection related. I'm sorry, CPU related. Sometimes CPU can't keep up. It does flash. As Henrik is now very, very close to Tobias.
He's right on the tail, making that move on the outside.
You never know.
But that's not gonna be enough. He's trying that outside, inside move again, but that's not really working out for him this time, losing a bit of time. Getting back in the claws of Jack Wilkins.
It's not over though for Jack. He could still win this if Henrik gets a little bit too eager going into the final lap.
Absolutely. How frustrating for Tim Buckman to just be outside of that 1 second that might be where the draft is. Could be pulling him back up to this front 3 group.
If Tobias and Henrik battle much more, Jack might get in there. Now when they all start battling, Tim might even get back in on the battle. Now it's going to be quite an interesting final few minutes of this race. But Tobias is doing everything he needs to do just now. Henrik still takes a very narrow line compared to Tobias. It's obviously what he's comfortable with. And it's not particularly too much slow between the two, but Henrik nearly loses the rear end as Tim goes very wide.
There for Tim.
Tim was about to enter the wall.
Very wide, yep. And Henrik going really wide on that turn, which is an off track, by the way. Doesn't look like it was a slowdown.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see. As Henrik Andersen is past class again.
Again, they're having their own fierce battle down for P6, 7, and 8.
This looks like another good corner, like Tobias was saying. Henrik is so good in turn 1.
Yeah.
Might not be enough to get him at the bus stop, but it's going to be enough to bring that gap down once again. Jack Wilkins is slowly starting to drop off out of that draft as well. But Buckman still fighting with Joshua Milton within half a second.
Sure. It's probably the last lap before white flag, I would assume. Tim would probably love to get in touch with Jack Wilkins, but it doesn't look like he has the pace for it right now. Or maybe he's just too busy keeping Joshua Milton at bay.
So Gordon has reported from the pit lane that it's the current white flag lap, so this is the final lap.
This is the final lap, all right.
So thanks to
I feel
Gordon.
like I should be able to see that somewhere, but
No, it does not appear on a timed race, unfortunately, in the software. It just we normally we sometimes jump on board with a driver as they go over the start finish line, and it will show a white flag.
Well, last chance then, Henrik within 3/10 of Tobias.
Yeah, but this is
Joshua Milton within 3/10 of Tim Buckman.
Henrik using all the available track, but I don't think it's going to be enough this time. Henrik Mola is going to be unlucky once again. He has a good final penultimate corner, but I don't think the start finish line's long enough. This is going to be a good win for Tobias. There's a little bit of contact on the wall, but there you go, Henrik.
I think Henrik is pleased enough with extending that gap to Tim in the championship, even if it wasn't a win for him today.
Henrik Addison still trying to get Dominic Lilliehart the line. Could he do it?
Oh, this is going to be close to the line.
I don't think it's enough. 2/10 it's maintaining.
Dominic keeps that. What a battle for P6, P8, P7, P8 from these three guys. Dominic Lilliehart, Henrik Anderson, and Klaus Hartmann.
What a battle going on up and down the field. This is one of the better tracks for TCRs apparently, and we'll bring Jack in this time.